Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jeff from BKJmactv, and this is the BKJmac podcast experience. And I want to say thank you for listening. Today's episode, season 2, episode 36, is a sad one. Yesterday morning, a legendary actor, philanthropist, activist, singer, performer, a man who was just simply good, Harry Belafonte, passed away. He died at age 96. Mr. Belafonte lived a very, very long life, and honestly, it was sad that he passed away. Every single major news outlet reported it around the world, and we took a time for a moment of silence for this legendary artist and activist who never gave up hope on America and around the people and the people of South Africa. He always did the best he could, and he never gave up. He always believed the good in people. And he got a chance to see Barack Obama become the first black president of the United States. It was fitting in August of 1963. He helped Byron Ruskins organize the March on Washington. And he spoke about unity and about coming together and breaking this mold of racism that eclipsed the United States of America and around the world at that time. So to speak at the Lincoln Memorial in that hot summer day, to seeing Barack Obama being sworn in as the 44th president of the United States was a legendary, extraordinary moment for Harry Belafonte. This is what he fought for. And he fought for so many different things. But he never gave up hope. In the article by Deadline, article written by Matthew Carey, titled "At 96, Harry Belafonte continues fight for social justice, stars in upcoming documentary following Harry." So this article talked about his documentary that he did before his death. This was written on March 7, 2023. I wanted to share this with you guys. Principal Photography has wrapped on Following Harry, a documentary that offers an inside view of the 96-year-old civil rights icon Harry Belafonte, continuing mission of social justice. The film, directed and edited by Susan Rodstock, is being riddled with premiere at the Fall Film Festivals. Belafonte, who celebrated his birthday on March 1st, executive produces Following Harry. He, Rodstock, and producer Julius Nussel previously collaborated on the 2000 documentary Sing Your Song, a film that examined both Belafonte's groundbreaking career in entertainment and his key role in the civil rights movement. Following Harry is a present tense account of Belafonte's ongoing dedication to advance a more equitable and just society. It covers a span of time dating from the killing of Trayvon Martin and Stanford, Florida, more than a decade ago until today. Following Harry is a feature documentary that shares the lived experience of Harry Belafonte in the most public of places and the most intimate confines of his private life. A description of the film notes, the film unfolds like a poem, allowing audiences to experience the effect that the social justice icon has purposefully and unintentionally created. From Ferguson to Fruitland Park and ascending to Ghana, even in Harry's Kitchen in New York City, the life's work of this cultural and civil rights icon is explored. It's a documentary that you must check out, and it's coming soon. He was able to wrap it up, and now he's passed away. Everybody across the world will be able to see it. Following Harry. I'll tell you more about it. Basically, Following Harry picks up where the earlier documentary left off. Evidence, if any, were needed that the work of forging social justice is far from over, despite what red state politicians might have you believe. At the close of Sing Your Song, I express my desire for the next generation to take my experiences freely, to learn from them, or to bring something better to move the cause of fighting injustice forward, Belafonte said in the statement shared with Deadline. So that's where Following Harry opens, and it's a magnificent story Suzanne has created from over 12 years over the world, not just with me, but with Aju, Monet, Alec Black, and Cameron Perez, Philip Aju, Jesse Williams, and so many more important artists, activists. Rostock observed about her subject, Harry is constantly engaging the most influential and expensive minds, elders, youth, art leaders, artists, and civil rights activists alike. The questions he raises and the answers he uncovers are what power the radical challenges he puts forth. All of this creates a riveting discussion on where we are as a nation, as a world, she added. It is also a story of aging, of literacy, of responsibility with what one leaves behind. The result is the audience witnessing the creation of a multi-generational blueprint for the future. In the exclusive first look at the film in the clip below, Belafonte comments, if anyone had told me that after Dr. King's murder, after the murder of Bobby Kennedy and all the upheavals of the 1950s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, that today, now, we would still be at the gate around issues of race and the vote, I wouldn't have believed it. The truth of the matter is that the enemy doesn't sleep. Indeed, the enemy doesn't sleep. It's a documentary that is a must-watch, and I will definitely be checking it out for sure. Following Harry is the documentary. It's the documentary. Right now, it's when you think about it, it's a sad occurrence, or when America loses such an icon of his stature. It's never easy when a celebrity goes, especially when they've left so much on the table for the people to follow. He left the blueprint on how to be a strong and social activist. People, he is well respected, highly regarded, and we will forever miss him. In this article, Harry Belafonte, legendary entertainer and civil rights icon, dies at 96, by Emily May C. She writes, Harry Belafonte, the groundbreaking singer and actor who became a civil rights icon, has died. His publicist confirmed that to CBS News. He was 96. Belafonte, an acclaimed screen and stage performer who was remembered for his trailblazing mainstream success in the 1950s music industry, died of congestive heart failure on Tuesday morning at his home in New York City. His longtime publicist Kent Sunshine said, "Many still know Belafonte for his signature hit, Banana Boat, Deo, a traditional Jamaican folk song of his breakthrough 1956 studio album Calypso, which became a smash hit and the first ever LP to sell more than 1 million copies. The album featured other hit records like Jamaica Farewell, now credited with bringing Caribbean sounds to mainstream pop music in the United States. After its quick ascent to #1 on Billboard's Top 100 list, Calypso remained a chop-chopping sensation for 31 consecutive weeks following its debut. Basically, 31 weeks his album lasted on the top 100 list. Top 100 list. That's extraordinary. There are artists who can't even crack that, who can't even crack it. And you have to be legendary. You have to be on a different level, on a different plateau to get to that level of shine. And the late great Harry Belafonte did that, and we remember him for that. Belafonte's rise to international fame gave way to a decades-long career in television and film, as well as music. He was an EGOT, the acronym given to stars who has received Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony Awards, and was also awarded the Kennedy Center Honors and the National Medal of Arts in 1989 and 1994, respectively. Born in Harlem on March 1st, 1927, Belafonte grew up in New York City after spending several years of his childhood in Jamaica, where his family had immigrated from. While his standout success in Hollywood and beyond as a Caribbean American was historic in its own right, Belafonte also made waves as a civil rights activist and became a vocal supporter of the civil rights movement, as well as a confidant of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Belafonte helped organize the 1963 March on Washington and was, throughout his life, an advocate for causes like the anti-apartheid movement, women's rights, juvenile justice, and climate change. He also served as an ambassador for UNICEF and the American Civil Liberties Union. Even before Belafonte won global fame as an entertainer, he saw himself as part of a ground tradition of artists who used their voices for change. His role model was Paul Robeson, the singer, actor, and activist whose career was derailed by McCarthyism. Basically, what that means, he was accused of being a communist, which was wrong. Belafonte used his voice to speak for the voiceless in America and around the world. He used his talents and his skills to shine a light on causes that no one weren't paying attention to or didn't want to pay attention to. Because of what he did, we remember that, and we take great pride in that, especially as people of color in America. In 2018, CBS News' Vladimir Du sat down with Belafonte, who drew a direct line from his years traveling the world with King back to something Robeson told him when he was just starting out. He said, "Artists are the gatekeepers of truth." He said, "Only through the world of the arts do we know who and what we are in the history of civilization." Belafonte told D, long before historians, long before people ascribed themselves as the caretakers of life and culture. The song did that, and in the black community, it was our primary tool of communication. So I saw the song as having something far more than something to delight audiences, and people could dance and sing. It had a content, and I began to see this content of black protest music. Belafonte married 3 times and was a father to 4 children, all of whom survived him. His shared children, Adriana Belafonte and Cherie Belafonte and Marguerite Bird Belafonte married in 1948 and another 2 children, Gina and David Belafonte, with Julia Robinson, whom he married in 1957. Wow. That's 1957. Wow. He married the photographer Pamela Frank in 2004 and is survived by her as well as 2 stepchildren, Sarah Frank and Lindsay Frank. Belafonte's wife was by his side at the time of his death on Tuesday, his publicist said. This man, we owe a debt of gratitude to, and we will forever remember him and his sacrifice to civil rights, the environment, civil liberties, you name it, he was there. And we owe him a significant debt. And to repay that debt, we must take on the fight. We must take on the fight against social injustice. I'm talking about fighting against racism, fighting against prejudice, fighting against anti-union movements. We need to fight for a better environment. We need to fight for better welfare in the United States. Right now, we deal with so many different types of issues that hold most Americans back in the inner city, in the lower middle class. The fight is brewing, and we need to revolutionize. We need to be like Harry Belafonte and Dr. King and Malcolm X, Paul Robeson, A. Philip Randolph, Byron Ruskins. We need to be like them. Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman. We need to be like them. And we need to fight and take on that fight. It is important. And I believe, and I strongly believe, I was held back for years by a so-called employer who looked at me, a person of color who looked at me and said, I just belong in a simple role. And when I look at him as a person of color trying to hold me back, I say with great pride and conviction in my voice that I am beyond your role that you see me as, and I am going to fight for social justice and change. As Mr. Belafonte did it, Mr. Dr. King did it. So I'm going to do it. Social change is the key to a better America. That is the mantra. Thank you for listening to this emotional episode of the BKJmactv podcast experience. Again, my thoughts and prayers and my deepest condolences to the Belafonte family. God rest your soul. God bless your soul, brother man. You will be remembered. Amen.